Hey everybody, welcome back to Confident Canine's channel. My name is Kyle, and right now I want to talk to you about how training makes your dog and your world bigger, not smaller. I think this is a common misconception for people who might want to train their dog but have some reservations about training their dog. Something you might hear is that they want their dog to still be allowed to be a dog and have a certain amount of freedom, and they don't want their dog's world to be constricted and limited. And the funny thing is that the exact opposite is actually true. Training, effective training, makes your dog's world so much bigger, and your world too. And a lack of training, we find consistently has progressively made dogs and owners' worlds smaller. So let me explain. Um, a typical dog coming in for training, might jump on guests, might growl and bark at guests in the home. So they have to go in another room, or they have to go in their crate, or they have, not that being in a crate's a bad thing, but they have no option other than to crate or remove their dog from the situation when guests come over. Someone They also can't walk their dog because their dog pulls them all over the place and it barks and growls at people and or dogs that they encounter on the walks, and so they had to stop walking their dog. Or if they do, it has to be only at night and in a very restricted area where they know no other people or other dogs are going to be. Um, or what else? I mean, dogs who can't go off leash because they can't trust their dog off leash. Owners can't trust their dog off leash. If they see another dog, they're going to be gone. If they see another squirrel, they're going to be gone, and they won't be able to get them back. And they're worried, for their dog's safety. They're worried they won't get their dog back, or the dog might, get into trouble. So the dog can't be off leash. I see this all the time when I take dogs to the local park right over here by my house. And it's a huge park. There's plenty of room for everybody. I mean, it's a huge park. I'm not there to run anybody off. But what I find is that even when I'm way over on this other side of the park with an off-leash dog that's completely trained, I know isn't I'm very confident that it's very responsive to me. It's always going to come when I call. It's always going to hold it down if I ask it to. But you might have someone way on the other side of the park that has to leave because they can't have their dog off leash if there's another dog even remotely close. Or I'll be at the park with off-leash dogs again. I'll even try and demonstrate to people who might, they pull up in their car with their dog, and I'll put all, the dogs I have all into a down, so that way the person sees, hey, these dogs aren't going to run after you, they're not going to approach your dog, they're all very under control. But even still, when that person can't trust their dogs, they have to leave. And so I end up like monopolizing the park just by virtue of being there because I tend to be one of the only people who goes there who can have their dogs off leash, and know that everything is going to be okay. So these are all ways in which, by lack of training, their world is much smaller. Now contrast that. Train these dogs. Get them leash trained so that they can walk in a heel around high levels of distraction. Get them so that they can hold it down around high levels of distraction. Train them an off-leash recall so that they can recall or come when called around high levels of distraction. And now guess what? Now your dog can go on walks anywhere. Your dog can go walk at a store. Your dog can go to a restaurant or a cafe with you and chill out and hang out with you calmly. And you're not going to be causing a scene. Your dog can go to a park with you, and you can be the one running other people off because you're the only one with an off-leash trained dog. And just look at that. Look how much bigger your dog's world can get. Imagine if you could walk your dog essentially anywhere that dogs are allowed and know everything's going to be okay. Imagine being able to go to any open field and turn that into your dog park because no matter what happens, your dog is going to come when you call. Imagine, having a dog who's really well trained to place, and that you can have guests over, and your dog isn't going to jump on them or growl at them or bark at them or make them feel uncomfortable. Imagine, the kids. I mean, I get a lot of clients from people who might have kids or grandkids, and the dog's not okay with kids running around. So, again, the dog has to be put away, or the grandkids can't come over, which, who wants that? So again, imagine your dog's well trained, and now the grandkids can come over, and you can know the dog is going to be safe. The dog isn't going to get in their space or jump on them, or try and corral them or herd them or anything like that. So I mean, I think you can see it's pretty clear that training actually makes dogs' worlds a lot bigger. And by virtue of that, your world bigger. Like I said, this doesn't just affect dogs. A lot of times it's affecting owners. I talk to owners and work with owners who can't have guests over anymore. They can't have their grandkids over anymore. They can't walk their dog where they want to. They have to walk, or when they want to. I mean, literally, I work with owners who have to walk their dogs at night because they know no one else will be around. When maybe they'd rather be relaxing, or getting ready for bed, and have had the ability to walk their dog earlier. So it makes your world bigger too. So while I kind of see where the notion comes from in terms of, I understand the fear, I guess. I think that if we really take a step back and look at it, it's quite clear that training does not make your dog's world smaller. Training makes your dog's world so much bigger, and your world bigger. So really consider it. Consider training. I think that you'll be happier. I think your dog will be happier. Train at home. You don't have to hire a trainer. You can do it yourself, if that's something that you want to do and you have the time. So yeah, if that's something that you've been worried about, I know a lot of people are, really think about it, and think about maybe the ways in which training might change your current circumstances. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you're somebody who maybe has experienced this, maybe you thought this, maybe you had this idea and you were worried about it, but you said, I'm going to train anyway and see what happens. And maybe maybe you saw this to be true for yourself. Go ahead and share that, because other owners might be struggling with the same thing, and maybe hearing from somebody who's been there and done that, might help. So, I mean, who am I, right? I'm just a dog trainer. Of course, I'm going to say all this stuff. But if you're a real person out there who's overcome this circumstance, go ahead and share it with people and help them see what might be possible for them, or what is possible for them. So, with that, thank you for checking me out. I will see you next time, and goodbye.